You know, some kids just want to have fun. It is so slick right now on this driveway that I couldn't even do that decent. I did it the other day. There was just a light coating of snow on top, and the front wheels would grab, and I could spin around, do a, 4 or 5 in a row, no problem. But the front wheels don't want to grab at all. It's just like a skating rink out here. Welcome to Amberg Acres, folks. So today we're going to try and install the Hallmaster Quick Hitch sold by Harbor Freight. I picked this up for $125 with a coupon, and the reviews on the website make it sound like it's a really good hitch. But then when you watch some of the YouTube videos, some of the guys are having problems hooking it up to their implements. So I don't know. But I've heard the same thing about other quick hitches, that they don't match up to the implements. So there's always going to be that issue. So I'm going to try hooking this up to my tractor, and we're going to see if it hooks up to this implement that I have here, my rock, my counterweight that I made. And hopefully it does, so I don't have to do too many modifications. The first observation is that the hooks have a lot of space in them. Now I don't know if it's intended, it's made that way and intended to that, because this is supposed to be for a category 1, and that's exactly what that is a category 1. So it should hook right up as far as I'm concerned. But seems like there is a lot of space in the hooks. And it doesn't say anything that I see in the instructions about going and getting a bushings or anything like that. So I looked up the category 1 pins, and those are the correct pins for a category 1 implement. So we're going to hook this up to the tractor, and we're going to see how it goes on to this implement, and we'll go from there. All right. So the first thing I'm going to try and do is get my bottom arms in on these pins. Now these arms, they kind of float. I have the pins out up here, so they can go in and out, and you can go up and down. Also, you can adjust it here. There's a couple of different holes there, but I haven't really had to adjust any of that. There we go. Alright, got that side in. Got that side in. Those little clips seem to give me a lot of grief. All right. Now the top link. I wonder if I should switch that. Their pin is a little bit smaller than the pin for my tractor, for my so maybe I should put their pin in here, because this isn't going, it ain't going together too well there. Just a slight misalignment or something on the holes. See, and their pin is a little bit smaller. so it'll go in easier. Yeah, that went right in. So we'll do that, and we'll put my pin in the implement. So my pins, the top pin is 750, and this bottom pin is 875, and that's, I'm pretty sure if you look up a category 1, that's what they're going to tell you it should be. Okay, so that is basically on there. Now one thing we have to do is we have to adjust this hook, because the dimension from there to here is not in the right spot. And they give you a bunch of holes here to adjust that. So I'm going to just try and measure that quick to kind of get close. I should probably go from the bottom of the pin, right? Bottom of the pin. We're looking at about 16 inches. So yeah, we got to drop that way down. That looks good. Let's just put it in there. Let's just put it in there temporarily and see if we can get it hooked up. So one thing I notice about a lot of this stuff that's made, I'm assuming China or wherever, to be that cheap. But all the holes have burrs in them. So the bolts don't go through decent. You know, they don't do a very good job of finishing their products. And if they did, they would be a lot better, I would say. But, you know, it is what it is. You kind of get what you pay for. But for $125, I couldn't buy the steel for $125. So to me that's worth it then, you know. All right, I'm gonna leave them loose. I'm gonna flip the handles up. So what these handles do, this is spring loaded, okay? So you could technically just leave that down and pull up and it should snap into place. But for right now, I'm gonna undo them. So they just go right in, like so. And then I'm gonna back up and I'm gonna try and hook up to this. So let me adjust the camera here so you can see this better. Okay, my first observation is that if you are not lined up correctly here, it hits against this bracket. So there could be, you could put some guides in there or something. That appears to work. Okay, so it hooked up just fine. This could use some kind of a guide so that you can get that centered better, so it goes in all the way. I am on the bottom 2 bolts for that center hook, and my my pins here, you know, they're just a little bit off the bottom. They're not quite. Yeah, I mean they lock in place if you had a bushing on there, but then everything's on that top pin. So I'm guessing there's no minute adjustment there. These hooks are welded solid, so I could maybe just weld a little piece in there to make that fit a little tighter. That would be my only suggestion. Otherwise, it fits fine. But all your weight is on that top pin now. Now, whose piece of equipment is off? This was only 150 bucks at Tractor Supply, so you don't know how well that was made. I suppose I could go check one of my other implements and see what dimension those are at. So maybe I'll do that. Let me go check that other implement over there and see what kind of dimension I get for those. I went and measured the other one. That one measures exactly the same, and I'm just eyeballing it with a tape measure. You know, from there to there, roughly 16 inches pin to pin. So, just by eyeball measurement, they're the same. Exactly the same. This is the same width here. The pins are in the same spot. So, a Cat 1 to me is a Cat 1. If I were going to modify this, there would be two ways to do it. I only got to go down a little bit. This one's touching, that one isn't, and that's probably just the way my rock is not, you know, not evenly weighted. It's heavier on one side than the other. But if I were going to fix this the simple way, the easiest way to do this would be to slot this pin here in my implement. Just slot this hole so that can sit down, so that these pins, these 2 lower pins, are sitting on the bottom hooks, because that's where all your lifting power is, are on these arms right here. And not on your top link, because right now it's sitting on the top link. It's either that or I have to change their whole bracket, you know, which I believe somebody had that on YouTube, was they cut this notch a little deeper in this hook. It was about 1/8 of an inch, if I recall, and that's about what it needs, you know. Yeah, I think it works fine. I will go. I am going to go do a little bit of moving branches and stuff, and we'll see how it works. I don't see an issue with it. I think it should work just fine. So let's go do a little bit of work with it, and then we'll come back and we'll maybe modify that pin, that hook or the pin. So my simple solution was to add a 3rd hole here in the middle. Okay? I kind of roughly did some measurements and I hooked it back up, and that looked like it was the easiest solution to me, was to put a 3rd hole in the middle. That way I can drop it down Now I'm in the bottom two holes now here. Okay? Like that. And any weight that's on this hook is going to be pushing against this beam anyhow. You know? So the bolts are just to hold it in place. It's really not. I mean, I'm not an engineer or nothing, but just looking at this was the simplest way to do it. Now my pins will be sitting flat down here in the bottom hooks where I believe they should be. And then the top is just for your adjustment, just like it is when you got your top link on. All the weight needs to be down here. And I mean, I could look into bushings to make this fit better in here. But I'm gonna try it just the way it is for now because I don't have the bushings, and we'll see if it bounces around too much or whatever, you know. So I'm gonna put this back together and hook it back up. The big washers won't fit, so we'll just put the lock washers on there. And hopefully the nuts will fit. Just. One thing I've noticed that's different with stuff made overseas, I guess I'll use that terminology. The head of the bolt is always smaller than the nut. So one is a 18 millimeter, one is a 19 millimeter. When you do American, or you know, all the American I work with, if it's a 5/16, they're both the same wrench, head and the nut. But I've noticed that on a couple of different things I've gotten. And I don't know if they do that on purpose or if it's just the way it is, you know? It's pretty close there. You ain't gonna you can't get a socket on it. You got to use the wrenches. Okay, I think that's good to go. I really don't think that's going to go anywhere. All right, let's hook her up, see if it works. That actually looks good to me. Well, that thing did not bounce or shake or any worse than it did on a regular 3-point hitch. So, in my opinion, for $125, I mean, there's no reason you don't go get yourself one, you know? I can't speak for how it's going to work with the plow. We're going to have to test that out come spring. Same with the box blade. Don't know how long the welds will last, or you know, is it going to break in half after a certain point? I can't answer any of those questions. But for 125 bucks, I hooked it up. I had to drill one hole to adjust that bracket a little bit, and it works just fine. So that's my opinion. Use it forever what you want, and you know, if you like these videos, give me a thumbs up. And I'm gonna get out of here because it's still raining, and before I fall and break my head open, I'm out of here. Later.